Hey Nation, Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook podcast here, recording for Tuesday's 11-game main slate. James, Tuesday, always one of the biggest slates of the entire week. We've had some 14-gamers here, so I guess 11 games not all too bad, but it is a slate loaded with top-end pitching talent here. So deciding what starters to use, building the right stacks, all the good stuff's part of our DFS success here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely a smaller Tuesday slate, if you want to call it that. But 11 games, not bad. There's loaded with pitching talent. There's a lot of offenses that are in really good spots, conversely. So definitely an interesting slate. One that, names we're not used to seeing at specific price tags that we'll get into pretty soon. So looking forward to diving into this one with you, John.
Yeah, 100%. Why don't we get into Vegas totals here? Talk about the favorable spreads that we're looking at and any totals that we should be targeting here as well.
Yeah, so when we take a look over at Viva Las Vegas, let's see. Marcus Sherman, the Chicago Cubs, minus 135. Ben Lively, your favorite pitcher in baseball, currently minus 165 up against the Rockies. The Cleveland Guardians, minus 225 up against the Oakland Athletics, sending Aaron Savale to the mound. The Dodgers with Clayton Kershaw on the hill, minus 150. There's like nothing else notable. No like giant. I guess Jordan Montgomery and the St. Louis Cardinals, minus 150 over Mackenzie Gore and the Washington Nationals. So let's go over and look at some over-unders, shall we?
Sure.
Let's see. 9.5 implied runs in the aforementioned Cards Nats game. 10 implied runs in Colorado Cincy, which was right on par with what we saw on Monday slate. I think it closed at 10.5 on Monday. 9 implied runs, Arizona, Milwaukee. 9 implied runs, Dodgers, LA. Actually, that game has been bet down already since open to 8.5. So 3 games currently, 9 runs or more. Slate low is 7.5, Yankees and the Mariners.
Well, let's dive into pitching here, James. Talking about our favorite top-end pitchers. You got to figure a game that is the 7.5 game total. You have Garrett Cole on the mound here against Seattle. We've been kind of targeting the Mariners for a lot this season. It's not to the lack of name brand talent in their lineup, Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelenic, and so forth here, but that lineup just really hasn't lived up to par for most of this year. Yankees are going to have to go up against Kirby, which certainly could be a tough matchup in their own right, but when you're looking at Nate Eovaldi at 11-1, Garrett Cole at 10-9, Clayton Kershaw at 10-5, and Framber Valdez at 10-2, how are you ranking out these top 4 starting pitchers tonight?
Ranking them out, it's Cole and Eovaldi probably on the top tier, and Kershaw and Valdez just kind of how they're priced right below them. You just mentioned the thing about Seattle. Lance Lynn just struck him out 16 times in one game. Lance Lynn, a guy that you and I have picked on religiously this entire season.
Yes.
And George Kirby did shut the Yankees down already this year. Just recently, actually. 8 scoreless innings, 3 hits. They didn't have Donaldson. They didn't have Stanton in that lineup. Not that either one of those guys are even coming close to hitting baseballs, but it is worth mentioning that those are 2 guys that can potentially hit baseballs. So I'll go Garrett Cole 1, Eovaldi 2, Kershaw 3, although, I guess the bullpen blew it in that game for him. He's still been really good, and then Valdez 4. You and I have talked about it a bunch, John. I don't know. The Framber is better than Javier in this sense, but they both feel like the strikeouts are been a little inconsistent lately. Yeah. And when I'm paying 10-2, I want premium strikeout upside. And Eovaldi coming off 9 strikeouts in his last start, Garrett Cole coming off 8 his last time out. I just feel like there's a higher ceiling on both those guys.
Sure. And I agree with you. And in bigger slates, there's generally some value on the board that we can go to help us spend up for those top 2 guys. Right. I agree with you. I go Cole Eovaldi as my top 2 guys. Probably give the edge to Framber over Clayton Kershaw, but slightly for me. But it's kind of negligible there. Next tier down, Ober, Stroman, Kirby, Gore. When I'm talking about my favorite starting pitchers here, I like Stroman here at $8,900 going up against Pittsburgh.
Dude, he's just so good. Clocks into work at 9, clocks out at work at 5,
Yep.
and just puts in a good day work. Never gonna really get too many strikeouts, but it's good. We're never giving up too many hits or runs. Solid. I mean, he's been awesome.
Elite FanDuel pitcher, right?
Elite FanDuel pitcher because he's going to get you a quality start. He's won 6 consecutive starts as well. Can't say anything bad about Marcus Stroman here at 8,900. I completely agree, and I'll throw George Kirby in right below him. I think Kirby against the Yankees makes a lot of sense because, let's face it, the Yankees' offense has stunk.
Yeah, without Aaron Judge, we've talked about it all season long. It's just a less intimidating lineup. It's not to say they still can't do damage. We've seen them still score runs, but they just got swept by the Red Sox. This past week. So, you and I, we've gone a little bit back and forth here. What to do with Aaron Savale? Last start out, ton of walks, got the pitch count up there, got him pulled early against the Padres, but had 7 strikeouts and a usually high number. 7 strikeouts and 3 2/3 against San Diego, but he's been pretty serviceable when pitching this season. Cleveland, I mean, our guy Kangas, man, shout out, you tweeted him out earlier today. He did, rather, the hitting stats for Cleveland over the last month. Really starting to come around here. They're home. They get Oakland. Savale could be in a spot to get a W here if he can keep pitching the way he's pitching right now.
Yeah, it is an interesting spot. I mean, Oakland has the second highest strikeout rate against righties. They have the lowest OPS. They have the third lowest ISO. They have the lowest WOBA. They're bottom 3 or last in every offensive category against righties. So, I mean, he'll probably be popular considering he's 7,900. And when you get past him, there's one elephant in the room, and he's facing his old buddies in Houston. And then the rest of the slate just falls off the cliff. So I think I could see Savale being pretty popular if people don't gravitate towards Justin Verlander at 7,300.
Yeah. Over the last 20 or so games, this is from the Cleveland Stats Twitter account. Since game 50, I don't know how many games Cleveland's played here, but so the last 20 or so games, I would imagine. 2nd in baseball and team batting average, 8th in OPS, 2nd in hits, 12th in runs. So a team that was last in all those categories in the first 50 games, starting to heat up. Jose Ramirez, we know, been an absolute monster. So Savale in this range, definitely going to be interesting. But anybody else down here? I mean, Verlander 73, returning Lugo, Montgomery, Cease, anything lively? Would you throw anybody else down here?
I mean, I would toy with the Verlander idea. I know righties, there's a lot of right-handed bats in the. Let's look at the Verlander. I just want to look at the Verlander splits before I even go any further. Because if he stinks against righties this year, then I don't want to part, because we talked about it on Monday's live stream. Max Scherzer facing 8 righties. Righties are again giving Verlander all the issues. I might just stay away. He hasn't been very good. I know he was good last start against the Yankees, but again, the Yankees, have been maybe there's a case to play Justin Verlander at 73. If he's going to be very popular, I'll probably pass, because we saw Max Scherzer very popular at 8,800, and Max Scherzer hasn't been very good the last few starts. So I may pass on Verlander, but I'll wait and see until there's ownership in front of me.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. If we go down into the value tier, I'll again just kind of throw out Cutter Crawford. Got off to a really good start against Colorado, faded again. 80 pitches has been his high, though, so it could just be a fatigue thing, right? They're still stretching him out. Arm could have just gotten away from him there after the 3rd inning when he came out there, but still 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. I know it's against Colorado. He does have strikeout upside here. Walked a couple guys. It's not great, but it's 11 game slate. If you're really looking to just make a bunch of lineups, get dirty with it, he's $5,400. Right. Again, I like the kid. A lot of the Red Sox scouts think he can project to be a pretty back end, but a guy that can go out there and not kill you as a starter. So willing to give him another run out there.
Okay. I don't know if we need to go that far. I might not even act like this tier even exists unless I'm using offensive players against them, but
Okay.
if I were to pick anyone, it would be Cutter Crawford from this
Okay.
year.
Let's move on then to hitters. Talk to me about your favorite hitters on this slate. Again, big slates, obviously a lot of options we can kind of pick onto, but we also see some pretty bad pitchers down on the value tier. So more than likely a handful of suitors for your top hitters on this slate.
Yeah, so on the infield top spends, I really like Paul Goldschmidt, gets a lefty 5,800. Homered for the second time in 3 games on Monday. He's starting to come around, and he still hit lefties extremely well. So Goldschmidt for me, Ellie De La Cruz gets a lefty at $5,300. I like him. We talked about it on a Monday stream that righties were the split that Ellie or righty, right? The right side of the
Yeah.
plate was the split that Ellie De La Cruz really thrived in at AAA. He gets Kyle Freeland in Great American Small Park again. So I
I think we
like
can say all
him.
Reds infield is probably in play here. Kevin Newman
Yeah.
just led off the game with a home run against Austin Gomber, so he'll
Yep.
more than likely be leading off again with the lefty
Yep.
on the mound here in this one. Now he's a value play, obviously, but between Steer and Ellie and India and Newman, like
And
Votto
McLean.
back, like the whole infield here.
McLean. Don't forget
Oh
about
yeah,
McLean.
McLean as well. They can play the whole Reds infield probably again. Now they're mega chalk here on a 7-game Monday. Could
Yep.
probably have some decent ownership still though, even on an 11-gamer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're getting Kyle Freeland in Great American Ballpark in the summer. It's gonna be just naturally a popular spot that people gravitate to, I think. So, yeah, I like the Reds. I like Christian Walker against Colin Ray. Colin
Sure.
Ray, not a great pitcher, and Christian Walker is a very streaky hitter, and streaking he is right now. So I kind of like that. We know. Look, Ryan Nelson is going for Arizona, and he's terrible. I know Milwaukee has been bad. I understand they've been bad, but like Willie Adames at home
Against the righty.
against the righty is the split. And I get it. He's hitting 200. And I'm not like sitting here saying that he's a core play, but he's 4,400. It's a good price. We've seen Adames up to like $6,000 at
Yeah.
times this year. And he really has lived out the like righties in like just the righty thing that he hits righties well at home. He has 8 of his 10 home runs this year have come against righties, and 6 of them have come at home.
Sure.
So give me Willie Adames as one of my favorite tournament plays.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I'm in agreement with you here. I also think, for top end guys, you can take a look at Paul Goldschmidt against Mackenzie Gore, $5,800. Goldschmidt homer today. Can certainly, I think, run out there, going up against Detmers, or not Detmers, rather, Gore. Arenado, I kind of feel the same way. He's been heating up a little bit as well. 4 homers last 10, double dong there on Sunday. So he's starting to get going. I know the numbers for him this year. Gets the lefty spot against Gore, and Gore's been good but not great at times this season. So and then Seager would be my other top infield here. Again, just kind of ridiculous potential. We're not, Cease hasn't given us any reason to trust him consistently this year. So I would go there. If you're looking at some value infield plays for today, James, where are you peaking?
So I'm going right to Cleveland. Andres Jimenez, 3,700, has really started to turn up. 4-game hit streak, has a 910 OPS over his last 10 games, 2 home runs, a triple, a double, and 10 RBIs over that span. And we haven't even gotten the speed out of Jimenez. How about Josh Naylor for at the same exact price, hitting 364 over his last 10 games? And he's had some monster games, not even like necessarily from the power department either. I mean, he only has 8 home runs this year, but he has 53 RBIs in 63 games. That's a lot of runs batted in
Got to
for
be
Josh
among
Naylor.
the league leaders. Devers was leading the league in RBIs. What's he at now? He's at 57. So Naylor's not too far behind him.
Dude, that's a lot of RBI. That's a lot of RBIs for Josh Naylor. Sheesh, 57 for Devers, huh? That's a ton.
Yeah, he was leading the league there for. I don't know if he still is or not, but he was right up there with the league leading RBIs going into the weekend.
So I like really have a lot of interest getting to those two. I'm okay getting to Heimer Candelario, who's starting to pick it up again. Back-to-back multi-hit games for Washington. He gets short of Montgomery. Jordan Montgomery has not been good at all. If Justin Verlander is going to continue to struggle with righties, I assume Houston's just going to run back to Jose Abreu and Yanier Diaz hitting in the middle of that lineup. So I like that stack as well.
Yeah.
For the Astros.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think we can certainly go there. Well, I've said like Cutter Crawford. You can also get some of these Twins guys in pretty cheap here.
Sure.
Crawford has proven to be hittable, despite the fact that I do like him as a talent. Kirilloff's pretty cheap. Lewis is cheap, so you can go to some of those Twins. We're not, Julian. We like the Twins generally.
Yes.
They don't always like us, but we do like the Twins.
They never like us, John. They never.
But
like
they're
us.
They're definitely cheap enough that you can build some lineups around them. I think on this slate as well. Kind of just scrolling around here, seeing if there's any other maybe like noticeable. I imagine Henry Davis is still min price here. Davis is still min price. Now he'll get Stroman, and we'll see if he's even in the lineup or not. But looking at catcher, a position that we generally find good matchups that we like to target. Stevenson is 3,500 against Freeland. That's a pretty good value play on this slate as well. You talked about Yarnier. He's 33 against Verlander. Patrick Bailey's 3,200. So definitely some of our guys.
Bo Naylor, John.
Oh yeah,
catching prospect for Guardians.
Called him up.
Yeah, $2,500. He'll be very popular.
Yeah, that's a good call there as well. Bo knows, right? Power from the left side of the plate. So.
Yep. Oh man. This is going to be your favorite slate of all time. We're playing Guardians. You love playing Guardians.
We'll see if it's my favorite slate or not.
We didn't even mention like Jose Ramirez. What is Jose Ramirez's price? 52. There we go.
Yeah. He was under
more like
it. Quite a second there. Not so much here. So it should be a pretty interesting slate from a hitter's perspective. Obviously, always with 11 games. Lineups will come out. Value will open up. We'll see where people are set. And we'll be live at 5:00 Eastern to break down the rest of what's going on here and to get a better kind of view on where we're going here with some lineup building. Let's go on over to the outfield, James, and talk to me about your favorite outfielders for the slate.
Yeah, so Anthony DeSclafani on the mound. He has not gotten lefties out at all, so gravitate naturally to Juan Soto. I know, again, he's been largely disappointing, and I understand, but I have a soft spot for Soto against righties, so I'll definitely go there. I could definitely get to Buxton if not playing Cutter Crawford because, he has been hittable at like he had 3 good innings and he had 1 bad inning, and that's all it really takes, especially if you're facing Buxton, and Buxton's definitely had the superior, his best splits against righties this year. So I like that. Lane Thomas should lead off. He continues to just rake, John. I'm sorry I stole that from you, but dude, he has 6 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs over his last 10 games. This guy is an extra base machine. 30 extra base hits in 69 games this year.
Listen, we were in on him last year, and he has not let us down. He's breaking out.
No.
11 homers on the year, 6 stolen bases total as well. Just keeps on hitting. And lefty, the split we were harping on last year when he was breaking out was against a lefty at home. At home this year, again, hammering it. 301, 894, 551 slugging in general, and he's hammering left-handed pitching overall. So, listen, Monty has not been the same guy this year as he was last year.
He is not.
And we've probably played more Nationals than anybody out there. So, for better or for worse, or at least I have. For better or for worse, at least I've been playing more Nationals than anybody out there. So, no, that's a great call. I like that a lot.
Other than that, at the top, you can Lugo coming off the IL. I think that's going to be a tough spot for him facing the Giants. You can get there if you want, not the best spot, but someone that you always talk about. And I'll just go to him is Tommy Edman against the lefty. Yeah. I know Tommy Edman's been bad, but stolen bases in back-to-back games.
They let him off the other day again. So if they're going to lead him off, well, I would be 100% in on Tommy Edman here.
Okay, good.
But they got to lead him off.
Right.
He's hitting like 400 against lefties. Like, it doesn't make any sense to like not play him at leadoff, but for whatever reason, they just don't do it. I don't really have any qualms with anything you said. Corbin Carroll is probably my top outfielder on the day against Ray.
Death taxes, Corbin Carroll.
What? Death taxes,
Corbin Carroll? Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous splits here. People may be off of him because of Corbin Burns on Monday, and they'll just like, if he has a good night, especially, they'll just run to him again here. There's nothing he can't do. 15 homers, 19 stolen bases already on the year. Just ridiculous talent. Are you shying away from the Ohtani show, though?
Never, ever.
8 homers the last 10 games. It doesn't matter without a lefty Kershaw, I don't think. 472, 1797, 1222 slugging the last 10 games for Ohtani. Oh, by the way, he pitched during this stretch as well.
Beat Texas, and he beat Texas. It's like he would be the MVP of the league without the pitching.
Yeah,
and that's just like the cherry on top.
Bases already with a 300 and 1,000. Like, he's having a better hitting year this year than he did last year. If it wasn't for Judge setting the home run record, he probably wins the MVP.
Yeah, he would. He's
100% winning the MVP this year.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't even think it's.
There's nobody. There's no circumstance that I see. Health. Right. As long as he plays a full season, there is no circumstance that I am currently seeing that he isn't the unanimous MVP winner this year.
Has to be. I mean, if we're doing this, like, forget it. Like, if we're doing this,
I was gonna say, if he messes around and wins a batting title, and wins like 20 games this year or something like that, right? Like,
dude, so I did this, I filled in for Colby Conway on the Fantasy Alarm podcast this week, and the opening segment was go look at the Angels team page, their stats page. The only categories that Shohei Ohtani does not lead in for the Angels on both sides of the plate is saves and holds. Every other category he leads. Home runs, hits, average, RBIs, runs, strikeouts, pitching, wins, pitching, ERA, pitching. Every category he leads. Everyone except saves and holds. So why don't we just start getting him on his off days, like on the days where he's getting side work? Just use him in high leverage situations, right? Just throw him in the ninth. Make sure you secure the game. So, I mean, obviously a different conversation for a different day, but he's the best baseball player we've ever seen.
Yes.
And they have 2 of them on one team.
Yeah.
And this might be their first winning year together, so I'm happy for him. They're 8 games over 500.
Hold my breath. I'll see.
Yeah, true. Hey, the pitching has held up.
It has held up. It has held up. They need to figure out a way to make a trade to get one more guy, but
Joe Adell. That's how you do it.
Yeah,
you float. You got
to let Joe Adell play to prove he's worthy of a trade.
He did. He homered.
Yeah, then they sent him. Right back.
They sent him down, and then they sent him right down.
So listen, I'm with you there. Ohtani for sure. Soto, yep, in on him. Carroll, 100%, one of my favorite plays overall of the entire night. Can get there. If we're looking down for the value range, though, what are you kind of like keying in on down here, guys under 4K?
So I just went like all the way down to see some prices,
Sure.
John. There's some interesting names. So Leotis Taveras, $2,800.
Makes no sense.
Jake McCarthy, Colin Ray, $2,800.
Sign me up.
Joey Weimer, $2,800.
Against a lefty?
All 3 of these. No, Weimer has a righty, unfortunately, but it's Ryan Nelson, so he might as well be a lefty. Like,
I was gonna say, Weimer hammers left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, Weimer does hammer lefties. He's just kind of been hammering everybody lately, so I just threw him in the mix. Jordan Walker, who is raking right now. Raking.
This is what we talk about with some of these guys where, like, that's Jesse Winker, not Jordan Walker.
Close.
Clicked on the wrong pitcher. There's so many Walkers down here.
JW. You did click JW.
There he is. Waiting on these top guys with talent, right? Like Gunnar Henderson took a while, finally figured out white hot, scorching hot. Jordan Walker took a little bit, got sent back down, come back up, scorching hot. Probably won't see the minor leagues again. Not everybody's going to be Corbin Carroll, who just comes out of the gate, best player in the league. Mike Trout took a little bit to get going, right? Like, here we are with Jordan Walker now. A guy is going to be a stable in this lineup, hitting it for all the power that everybody had hoped for. Take advantage of the DFS price now. Remember Corbin Carroll for like the first 2-3 weeks of the season was like 3K. And James and I were like, thank you, I guess.
I know.
Right? Like,
every day
we pumping Jordan Walker in your lineup at 3K, like we've been doing with Leodis Taveras for the last week, right? Like, play these guys when they're 3K. If DraftKings is forgetting about them, if their algorithm thinks that he's still in AAA, right? Like, and just take advantage of the discounts.
Right. Yeah, he's too good to be 3K. He's one of my favorite values and you know what? Like, Mackenzie Gore has solid upside, and he was really good earlier. He hasn't been the same guy of late. So, Jordan Walker at 3K just feels stupidly mispriced.
Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. I'll agree with all of those value plays. And again, Howard Bender will be on the playbook for everybody. James and I will be back live. We'll give a little bit more in-depth take here on our favorite values and top plays at each position as we move across. James, let's get into our Grandes, Gems, and Impemba imprint plays of the day here. Why don't you lead us off and run us down, starting off with your home run call?
Yeah, so home run call, I'm going to go Ellie De La Cruz here. My top stack, I'm going to go with Arizona. I think they're going to get to Colin Ray quite a bit. I think my contrarian stack actually, you know what? I'm going to go with the Guardians as my top stack of the day. I know
Guardians could have been your contrarian stack, but
I was going to say I could probably use them as my contrarian stack. F it, I'll use them as my contrarian stack. I'll go Guardians as my contrarian stack. My star of the day, I'll go Jose Ramirez. And my value play of the day, how about a little Bo Naylor? I mean, top prospect, was hitting pretty well at AAA, 486 slug, 12 home runs before the call up. Lefty gets Luis Medina, and Luis Medina's been bad. So I'll go Bo Naylor as my contrarian play.
Okay. Home run call is going to be Ohtani for me. Just going to keep it rolling. Why not? Let's let it run out there. Diamondbacks are going to be my top stack as well. Did you say Diamond? No, you said Cleveland was your top stack, right? Diamondbacks.
No, Diamondbacks. I went Diamondbacks top stack. Guardians.
Diamondbacks. I agree with you. Diamondbacks will be my top stack there. The Reds will be in contention for that there as well. For me, contrarian stack here. I'm going to run out. I think I'm going to go St. Louis. Let's go St. Louis for a contrarian stack here against Mackenzie Gore. I like that. Start of the night's going to be Corbin Carroll for me. And my value play of the night will go with Jordan Walker.
That's a good one.
3K. Couple minutes left, James, in the show. Let's build a lineup for the people at home.
Okay.
What do we got cooking?
Bo Naylor. That is literally, and Jordan Walker. Those are the first two people I plugged in.
Jordan Walker.
Those are the first two names. Yeah, those are the first two names I plugged in.
Okay.
What do we want to do a pitcher? Because I think you and I both were. It was either Cole or Evaldi for us.
And Evaldi gives us 37.50. I'm just throwing that out there. We got a bunch of value outfielders we do like. Leodis is under 3K.
Do we want to do Savali as our SP2?
Sure.
Just to or Stroman as our SP2.
And I like Jose Ramirez here at third.
Yep. I mean, we could just end up going full. What do we got for Reds prices here? Like Newman, who gets a lefty again. He is first, third, $2,900. If you wanted to play Kevin Newman, he's going to probably lead off.
I got.
Oh, you have Naylor at first. Okay.
Second base and shortstop.
Second base and shortstop.
3,800. I put the show Ohtani in our outfield. So second base.
You want to go India at second base?
Can we fit in a shortstop if we do that? 3K shortstop.
3K shortstop, Ezekiel Duran.
Easy. All right, guys, that's an example lineup for everybody here for the First Look podcast here. Again, James and I will be back live at 5 o'clock Eastern PM, breaking down the slate. Howard Bender's on your playbook. We'll be back live again, 5 o'clock, giving everybody updates on this lineup and all the happenings around the MLB. James and I will talk to y'all later.